forget, you can hear the full-length, longer version wherever you get your podcasts. Julian Clary is my guest today, who I've made it clear I am well disposed towards. Where do we start? Well, here's a place. I didn't know till I read the research notes that you grew up in Teddington, which is more or less where I live. I live in Strawberry Hill. Which
I know, Strawberry Hill.
Yeah.
When I was about 14, a member of the Strawberry Hill Players. We were doing a production of Lord Arthur Savile's Crime.
Oh.
And Oscar Wilde. I think it's Oscar Wilde. Yeah.
Yes. When you were growing up, who were the comedians that you were watching and thinking maybe this is something I could do?
Well, I came from a funny family, first of all. We did laugh a lot. My mother's very funny. My grandfather was very funny.
What sort of funny was she?
Well, she still is. Withering funny. You know,
right?
We always needed a victim. It's usually my father, so he would be the butt of the jokes, and but just disparaging remarks about newsreaders and all of that. That was just what we did all day long, but then we were watching Larry Grayson and Bruce Forsyth. It's a funny time for comedy, wasn't it, the 70s?
Mm.
There was all those men in bow ties.
Let's talk about Larry Grayson for a minute. Remember the way he would stand on stage and just talk
about nothing?
Yes, seemingly nothing.
Yes, seemingly nothing. And I aspire to that, where you come on and you just say, you keep interrupting yourself, and you keep digressing. I like to do a bit of that. And so you're telling a story about what happened. Well, he was the sort of arc of it would be what happened on his way to the theatre. Yeah. But along the way, he's constantly digressing, and it's all about nothing, and it's about how he shouldn't be here because he's not well, and he's had it all down here and whatever.
Remember his postman? Do you remember what he was called?
Popperton Pat.
Popperton Pete.
Popperton Pete, there you are. There was a whole gallery of different people.
You heard the story about Shut That Door. I heard he was on stage in a club or a theatre, and there genuinely was a draft that came along, and he went, shut that door, and it got a laugh.
Mm.
So he tries it again, and it becomes this thing that you could never write.
Well, it's that whole thing about what's going on in the wings as well, which is always funny.
Yeah.
I have a thing about Bertha, the lesbian in the wings, and what she's doing. She's dismantling her motorbike, and when you put that pipe out, and that sort of is probably derived from that same thing of Larry Grayson. But
but it all comes down, doesn't it? We were talking about Barry Humphries just before we started recording. I remember saying to him once, I've kind of been inspired so much by your stage persona and the way you talk to audience. And I said, I sort of said, hope you don't mind. And he said, it's wonderful that someone is carrying the torch, because he loved that. The tradition of it all and the sort of through line of it.
Yeah, when I started out, I practically did an Australian accent. I was so influenced by Barry Humphries when I was doing an act called Gillian Pieface, who was a healer, a sort of earth mother healer. And I've always liked messing around with the audience and picking on people and talking to them. I think that's.
And what did Gillian look like? How would you appear?
She wore a caftan, a black and gold caftan, and beads and a blonde wig. Well, this isn't that interesting, but my first ever job was with Covent Garden Community Theatre, and we did a sketch show once called Winter Draws On. And,
well, there we are. You got me.
Gillian Pieface was one of the characters in that. And I used to find a man in the front row and do the laying on of hands. And I'd say, it's not working. I'm going to have to plunge you into darkness. And then I would lift up the caftan, put it over the punter's head. And so then with me standing and them sitting, there was the illusion of some sort of oral sex going on.
Yes.
Much hilarity would ensue. On a good day, it was all very hit and miss.
Yeah. And on a bad day?
Wow. I died many a death.
How did you then get on Friday Night Live? What were you seen doing that they thought, oh yeah, he's good for this?
I was thinking I was at Jongleurs or
Yes.
something.
Yeah.
And they'd been sniffing around, and one by one, people would be plucked from obscurity. So people would, Harry Enfield or whatever, they'd go, and you would hear that Jeff Posner was in the producer's
Jeff
room.
Posner was and is very, very big producer behind all sorts of hits.
All your favourites.
All your favourite shows. So some people are getting plucked, but what about the ones then that weren't plucked?
Well,
that were hoping to be plucked.
I was a long time waiting to be plucked because I thought that they're not going to want something this gay and rude.
And at this stage, you doing the Joan Collins
fan club.
Yes. Right? Okay.
When they ran out of other people, then I got my chance, and it really was that kind of quick, as far as I can remember. You'd say, I'm on doing Friday Night Live next week. And then suddenly Addison Cresswell, who you might want to tell your viewers.
Addison Cresswell was, no longer with us, a larger-than-life comedy agent. Manager, more than an agent.
Yeah.
Manager, instrumental in so many big names, probably the biggest of all of his type. So did he see you, and did you end up with him?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's a huge thing, isn't it? Yeah.
He just took charge of my life, and he said, right, but mush, you're not doing the circuit anymore. And that was when he said, you've got to go on tour on your own. That's when I had to suddenly do a longer set.
So, Addison Cresswell, he says, and this is an exaggeration.
You're turning to Tommy Cooper now.
So he says, okay, you've been on Friday Night Live. You're a hit. You are now going to tour. You got to get an hour together. How do you do that?
You get a pianist.
Yeah.
I had some, from the double act I did when I was at Goldsmiths, I had these old Victorian monologue songs.
All right.
And in the original sheet music, we'd found them in some dusty old shop in Soho. And they were very funny. A song called, two I remember, The Man with the Swollen Head.
Yes.
And another song called I May Not Be Clever, But I'm Clean. I also developed a taste for doing iconic songs from I did You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman for a while.
Did you?
And I Say a Little Prayer. Things by Aretha Franklin or Celine Dion or, those.
How would you do them? Would you sort of sing them or would you give it, so you would sing?
I can't sing.
I see.
But it was that sort of mind over matter thing.
Yeah.
And
so you'd be doing I Say a Little Prayer. I'm not asking you to perform now like a performing monkey, but Russell would on the piano and then the morning I wake up.
Answer my prayer first was one of the jokes. And it was pitiful, really. But that is...
Pitiful, really? That's a title for a memoir.
That is what we did. And then I got Barb Younger and Michael Parker.
Yeah.
We would do the 20-minute warm-up act, and they would beef up the music. Then you really, Barb would really be singing.
Right, yeah.
Answer my prayer, which made it easier for me to interject with things. And then you get people out of the audience, and I would do a game show, or you managed to pad it all out.
Pad it all out. Well, as we speak, it is February 2025, and you're about to do more dates of your tour, A Fistful of Clary.
Oh, am I?
Yes, you are.
I wish my agent would tell me.
That is, now, Fistful of Clary, it is two things. A Western theme. Is it also a nod to the most notorious incident in your career?
Yes.
See, I'm very clever, aren't I? I spot these things. That was, we sort of forget now, but that was a huge thing. We're talking about, well, you tell us. You're at the British Comedy Awards.
You tell us.
Or I'll tell you. Julian was at the British Comedy Awards. He was coming out to present an award, I believe. Mm-hmm. Jonathan Ross probably hosting, I would imagine.
Yes.
And you said, oh, well, here I am. I've just been backstage fisting Norman Lamont, who was the Chancellor of the Exchequer at the time. That's right. I mean, humorous, funny, got a big response in the room.
Yeah, you haven't quite done it justice.
I offered you the chance
It was
to
a
do
very
it.
bucolic set, and I said, "You've recreated Hampstead Heath for me."
Ah,
You see?
I forgot that bit.
Yeah,
Okay, right.
You couldn't just walk on to any old set.
Again, I offered you the chance to tell this yourself. You declined.
Yes. No, anyway, that's what happened. And so a Fistful of Clary does refer back to that.
But talk me through then the time, because that, my understanding is that did harm your career.
The tabloids the next day.
Right.
Sick Clary. Vile, gay,
Yeah.
So it was... so I went to Australia, which is, where they don't mind that sort of talk.
They positively lap it up.
I love it. Breakfast TV. What's all this about fisting normal or what? And
they are different. They are different, Australia. I always remember the first time I went there was going to be a royal tour happening. I think Prince Charles was going around there, and he made some comment that was taken, the wrong way or something. And I remember the news guy going, what's old Charlie been up to now? And you're going to go, wow, you may get it a little bit more now these days over here. This is about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I was really shocked by that.
Yeah, no, I love them for that.
Yeah,
I did feel, life will go on. It will be fine.
So when you say I went to Australia, you moved there or you just went and did shows?
No, I
there?
went on a very long tour of about 9 months. And it wasn't nice, the whole infamy thing.
No.
But actually, it was quite a funny joke by my standards, and
you've got so many great titles here. You've had Pad It Out. You've got By My Standards.
I don't know. It's just something that happened, isn't it? And and then you recover from it. And I don't think about it nowadays.
You go to Australia though. What a fantastic place.
Your twitching leg in my peripheral vision is distracting me.
Right, I'm sorry. This is Aaron J, and I've talked to him about this before.
It's like someone masturbating in the corner.
We've talked about that as well, haven't we? Be grateful it's just the twitching leg.
Constant jerking movement in my side vision. So sorry about that.
Could I please ask, Aaron J, that you stop with it? It's upsetting Mr. Clary. He's our only Julian, I'm so sorry.
No, it hasn't upset me. It's distracting my train of thought. And have you got any Valium you could give him or anything?
Or maybe just put a blanket over your lap.
That'd be worse.
I suppose it would in a way. A Fistful of Clary. Tell me about it. A Western theme.
It's cloaked in I thought this is a good wheeze, isn't it? Because I can sing Western songs. I can wear kind of Western clothes and chaps. And
you got a lovely line in the blurb involving chaps, which I would say is vintage Clary.
Oh, about slipping into a pair of chaps?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a gift.
It's a gift, isn't that line? It's a gift.
So there's all of that. And I can get people out of the audience and do a little play called The Magnificent 7 Inches.
Nice.
Yes, thank you. But at the same time, as we were saying about Larry Grayson, it's a lot of nonsense, So I come out and I'm about to tell you all about the Western stuff. But before we do that, could I just say,
So these are extra dates due to phenomenal demand.
Apparently, yes. No, they found some other places that we haven't been. Basically, Bertha drives me round and I'm in a heavily sedated state in this van. And she says, we're in Swansea. And then you go on and you do it. And then I'm back in the van.
And you'll say this is the narrative that you say on the stage. You tell this to people that she is driving you round and you look over at her and maybe make out she's there in the wings.
No.
Oh, you don't?
No.
You should.
No, but that is what happens.
Oh, genuinely?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were making that up.
No, I drive around with Bertha. It's just me and Bertha.
Oh, I thought that was a confection.
No, it's not.
Well, you can understand my confusion.
Yeah.
You said a minute ago she was stripping a motorcycle in the wings.
No, that bit's not true.
Right.
But she is always in the wings.
And she is a lesbian called Bertha.
She might not be a lesbian.
Is she called Bertha? I mean, there's a woman in the wings.
No, she's not called Bertha. No, but in my mind she is. There's always, sometimes it's Helga. It used to be a Helga, but it's Bertha. I like the idea of living in an LGBTQI bubble.
Yes.
And I like doing panto for that reason, actually, because, I mean, there's odd heterosexual around, you know, in case you need something heavy lifting.
Yeah.
But generally, we're all queer, and I like that.
You have embraced pantomime, and pantomime has embraced you. And if you look at the CV and you see the panto, it goes back a long time. The first one was that one they filmed for ITV, wasn't it?
Oh, those.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then you look at it and you see that you appeared in panto, wherever it is here. I think I saw Wolverhampton, somewhere, Southampton, maybe. But then it becomes the London Palladium.
Yeah.
The London Palladium. The London Palladium. How many have you done now? Well, you won't know. You've done 9, right?
Oh, really?
Yes, you have. You've done 9.
Okay.
And I get the sense that I get is that you absolutely love it.
I do love it. But when you say it all like that, do you mean it's going to be London Palladium, Wolverhampton?
Well, it might.
Richmond, it might.
It might. But I mean...
I should be so lucky.
No. So tell me about it. You love it. A lot of people I know who've done pantomime, I remember bumping into Robert Lindsay in Richmond when he was doing it, and in between shows, you know, and he said, it was, you know, just how hard work it is.
I know.
It's exhausting.
Yes. No, you have to give your whole life over to it. And I quite like that exhaustion. And I quite like being... that job satisfaction of knowing you've done 2 shows and you've got nothing left to give. I sort of feel that's a good thing, you know. And this goes on for weeks. So you're doing 12 shows a week for 5 weeks. And I don't know why I like that sort of altered state you go into. And I don't do anything but the shows. You know, I'm in a zombified state. I go to Marks and Spencer's and get something to eat. Yeah. And then you go into the theatre about 12, and dressing rooms in the Palladium don't have windows, so you don't see the outside world until you come out after the second show about 10 o'clock. And I go home. I don't speak to my husband at the best of times, but no, I think that's how I can do it. I can't go to the pub after, and I can't go for a party.
You have to give yourself over to it. Talk about the sanctuary and the sanctity of the dressing room when you're doing a run in one place. It's very much like a sort of cocoon where everything is safe.
Yes.
And the outside world doesn't permeate.
Well, I have Bertha there.
Or Helga.
To dress me.
Is this the same one now that's doing a Fistful of Clary going around the country?
It's a different woman, but she's called Bertha.
All right.
For my poet. It makes it easier.
It does.
So Bertha is there, and I don't have to pull my trousers down or anything.
No.
You know,
she'll do that for you.
She'll do that.
Yeah.
She'll microwave the food.
Right. So you're looked after.
It's like a sort of ballet, you know, she knows what I'm going to do and when I'm going to do it, and she is there to help me.
Or sheltered housing with 24-hour care, Julian, depending on how you want to look at it.
It's a hop and a skip. Yeah, from that.
Yeah. Have you got a panic button? Have you got like a red cord just in case?
Which is always just there. You know, she doesn't go anywhere.
This last one was Robin Hood. And you were?
I was Robin Hood.
Robin Hood. What sort of a Robin were you?
I had a lot of men to keep merry. I was homosexual.
You played... Well, I didn't see this coming. So, because, of course, we've had Kevin Costner's Robin Hood.
Yeah, but, you know...
We've had Russell Crowe's Robin Hood.
Yeah, the thing is about panto, as you well know, is I'm Robin Hood, but I'm myself as well. Yes. So you slip from one to the other, and you can comment on everything. So, I mean, I say he was homosexual, but he was getting married to Maid Marian, played by the lovely Jane MacDonald.
Oh, is that okay? Yes.
She was the love interest.
Robin, in this production, didn't see his homosexuality as perhaps a bump in the road in his marriage with Jane MacDonald.
No. you go down these paths, don't you, where you just make up a whole scenario. All this
He's
fucking
hitting
thing.
the microphone again. All these hand gestures
If
from
you're
you.
not busy jerking off, is it going to be all right? Thank you.
You don't know where those hands have been, Julian.
I have a fair idea. Thank
There we
you.
are.
No, we came to an arrangement, me and Jane, that we'd get married as long as I could have the occasional night out with the boys. And she said, you won't mind if I do the same.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Okay. So it's just an open marriage then.
Unconventional, yes.
What about other things? I remember seeing you on a TV show, you won't remember this, and somewhere in maybe Kent or Sussex, and you're at the top of a Martello tower. It was something to do with history, and you came out with a great line that made me laugh out loud, something about beating off Roundheads. I always remembered that, and I went, "Blah!" and I laughed. That side of things where, I don't know, Julian Clary's Guide to English Gardens or whatever it is, as one gets older, do those kind of programs become more appealing? Have you developed in ways you think, I didn't used to be interested in this, but now that's quite appealing?
Well, yes, I've got this theory that, the universe provides and the right thing will be presented to you at the right time for reasons you don't have to try and understand. This is sort of in retrospect, I think whatever I do is a parody, it's a sort of send up of it. And I don't realize while I'm doing it, but I think that is how my brain works. So I did a nature program. It might have been that.
Maybe. I forget what it was, but I just remember you were at the top of it was outdoors, the top of some sort of tower or something, looking out at the countryside. And you said that line, which I've always remembered.
You see, I wouldn't have been interested in the English countryside or Martello Towers, but as a setup for a joke, it's all worth it.
So when you're doing those other things, I think, if I'm right, that what you're saying to me is you do them with a slight, with a gauze of
this is good. Don't stop now.
I go with a filter, of
yes. Come on.
I don't know what the word is. I don't want to say not cynicism. That's terrible.
No.
But you're seeing it through. But you say you're not taking it entirely seriously.
No, nothing. I don't take anything very seriously.
Right. What would make Julian Clary happy?
I'm very lightweight, you see. This is an issue in some areas of my life that I won't have serious conversations. But I'm a camp comic and renowned homosexual. I've found my path in life and I'm not shifting from it. So there. But I don't worry about it. Something will just arrive. I got some dreadful TV proposal through yesterday.
Did you?
And I thought,
what did you think of it?
Looks dreadful.
Did you?
I'll do it.
Did you really?
No, I might. I'll go and see them about it. But you know what I mean? The right thing will happen. Yeah. I didn't think I'd do 9 years at the Palladium. You could have hoped and schemed for that and it would never have happened.
Are mum and dad still around?
My mother is.
Right.
Yes.
What does she make of what Julian has done and become?
She's very like me, Yeah. She's amused, yes, but she's also steadying. I remember when I won Celebrity Big Brother, and you've been in there. I speak to her every day. I hadn't spoken to her, so I came out and there was all the confetti, and you'd won, and fireworks and congratulations, and all these TV types. And I said, I must phone my mother, and I said, hello, it's me. And I said, I've won. And she said, I know. She said, don't get carried away. You haven't won the American presidential election. This is what it made it look like.
Yeah. And winning that, that's a curious thing, isn't it? Because what are you winning for? Are you winning for likability? Is that what they're saying?
Well, who knows? It was a public vote, so
that's right. Well, so it's kind of
pleased me.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. You don't have to do much. You just have to sit around and be
and not have a breakdown, live on air.
Be interesting occasionally, or say something funny twice a day.
But it must have been a nice shot in the arm to know that the public had watched you in there and gone, yeah, Julian, we want, you know.
I think it was, and I think I had a tour booked as soon as I came out. I'd rehearsed it before I went in.
Yeah.
So that
So the tickets just
ticket sales
flew.
Yes, that was. I mean,
because those things really do work, don't they? The correlation between being on a show of that sort and just bums on seats.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Well, I said bums on seats. You didn't do anything with it. I mean, I was offering it up to you if you wanted to run with it.
Oh, you wanted it?
Well, I get on the evidence of most of the interview, I thought you would have run with that.
What could the word bum?
Bottom, bums on seats.
You thought I'd been in there. No, you don't.
Thank you very much, Julian Clary.
You're heterosexual from Strawberry Hill at the end of the day, wearing a gingham shirt.
Oh yeah, we got sidetracked. The gingham. Yes, it was for a thing, you see.
And you told me this.
Yeah, I know. It was for a thing. And I'll be very honest with you, Julian Clary. I was in my bedroom this morning. I opened my wardrobe. Bear in mind, I've got a very long drive later today.
Oh, right.
Right. I thought, what am I going to wear? What shall I wear for Julian? And I went gingham.
And what's the long drive?
France.
You're going to... Oh, this is the skiing.
Yeah.
Which I can't imagine either.
Yes, insulted me when he arrived. What? Yeah, let's go back to that. I take care of myself. I exercise. Why? You said you couldn't imagine me doing any sport.
No, I can't. You're not. I mean, there's not much of you.
Because I work out. Right. I think this is coming to a close. Julian Clary speaking earlier today in London. Do you know now if we'll be seeing you at the Palladium Panto next year?
I couldn't possibly say.
That's a yes. A Fistful of Clary all around the country. Go and see it.
And Bertha will be there.
And Bertha or Helga or, some construction based on a real person will be there in the wings. And it'll be brilliant fun. It's really nice to spend a bit of time with you. Because we said before we started, we've oddly avoided each other, very rarely been in your presence.
Yeah, that's no coincidence.